Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user StockCell1556. Am I the a-hole for not paying for all my cousin's children's activities just because I'm paying for one? Due to hard work but also a lot of luck, my husband and I are fairly well off, while many of my family members are struggling financially. They're not going hungry, just having to cut corners. I am an only child but have a very large extended family, and I grew up close to many of my cousins. One cousin's son has been swimming since he was 4, and swimming is basically his life. He is 15 and swims for his high school, but has also been swimming with a club for many years. His parents have scrimped to make this possible. There is a lot of travel involved, and now apparently even his suits, technical suits I think they're called, are hundreds of dollars, and he needs these for the championship meets. Basically, it's expensive and they can no longer afford it. His coach is eager to waive the club fees to keep him in swim, but he can't cover all the related costs. I've offered to pay for all of Deaton's swim expenses. He is good and he is dedicated. He practices around 16 hours a week, getting up at 5 a.m. many mornings. He has an excellent chance of getting a scholarship to a D1 school. He is already getting attention from coaches. The problem is, he has 3 siblings who also participate in activities, and my cousin is stopping those due to financial concerns as well. Additionally to all of that, I have several other cousins with whom I'm even closer who are in similar positions. Deaton's parents have graciously accepted my offer, but my aunt said that if I'm going to pay for Deaton to keep his sport, I need to pay for his sisters to keep dance, cheerleading, and art as well. Another cousin also says that I shouldn't pay for one of my cousin's child's activities without paying for hers too. I have about 30 first cousins. I can't pay for everyone. I could possibly be the a-hole because I guess it isn't fair, and I know these other children enjoy their sports and activities too, and it could look like favoritism, but I think I'm probably not the a-hole because so far the others aren't anywhere near as talented or as serious about their extracurriculars as Deaton is, and his will almost definitely land him a college scholarship. Am I the a-hole? OP, in my opinion, no, you're not the a-hole. Basically, my principle is family and money shouldn't mix because of this kind of crap. But that could easily be avoided if people kept their mouth shut, and apparently in your family that doesn't happen. How come everybody has an opinion about how you decide to spend your money? Why do they think they're entitled to tell you how you should spend the money that you worked for? You've decided to help out a kid who loves what he's doing to the point that he can actually have a future with it, and you're just helping him out, which is fine. The big issue to me is, as I said in the beginning, why does your family have to be involved in this? Who told them? This should have just been a conversation between you, your cousin, and their spouse, in case they're married. And that is it. I would probably still help Deaton out and tell his parents to shut up, and any other family member also. I'm not talking to you guys about this. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Kabwem says, not the a-hole, but why did anyone outside of Deaton's parents need to know that you were doing this? And Opie responds, because my family has a collective big mouth. Deaton's sisters complained to their grandma, who then reached out to me, and apparently others as well, and I'm sure the whole family knows by now. I come from a very small town. Dramatic Paramedic 79 says, first off, your cousin is an a-hole for telling anyone but the kid that you are doing this. Now, call it a family scholarship. You have chosen to sponsor one child, the one who earned it through hard work and commitment, because that's how life works. Not everyone wins, but through struggles and hard work, they may get recognized and move forward. You owe no one's child a free ride, and you most certainly are not responsible for everyone else's child to have sponsorship. That's not how it works. You have graciously chosen to make these funds available to the person who shows the most promise and dedication. This is extremely fair and generous. Your aunt is a troublemaking button ski and needs to F all the way off. The rest of them can look for money elsewhere. And if after your swimmer moves on to college and you find another committed cousin who shows promise, you can sponsor them. But do not feel responsible to pay the bill for everyone at Free Ride Land. Lady Mittens of the Lake says, not the a-hole. If he is good enough to be looked at by D1 coaches and his club coach is waiving fees for him, this is more of an investment in his future than just paying for an activity. If any and all of the cousins were equally good enough in a sport that they might get a free ride to a D1 college, that would be a completely different matter. It sounds like the other cousins just have extracurricular activities like every other kid. Hello all, goodbye all says, you're not paying out of favoritism, you are investing in his future. Tell anyone who complains that they are welcome to pay for X to do Y if they want. Your investment in your nephew is probably only going to be for 3 years. You can support another child with potential then, not the a-hole. And Dopey responds, this is the way I see it. This is going to help him succeed in the future. Not many of my cousins or their children have been able to attend college, and this is his chance. Additional information from OP's comments. If I'd thought it over more before making the offer, I probably could have handled it better. It just didn't occur to me that others would be hurt. I'm not so much concerned about what the parents think, but I don't want the kids thinking I like Deaton more than the others. He's a boy who competes in a sport while his sisters dance, cheerlead, and draw. I don't want to make it seem like what he does is more worthwhile or that he matters more because he's male. I don't think it's coming across this way, but it is a concern. Well, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole, that she's not just picking a favorite. She's sponsoring a kid that has a future in what he's doing and he loves it. And OP's concerns are of course very valid. So now let's move on to the update that I have curated along with additional information that OP left in the comments. I had a talk with Deaton's parents over the weekend and we worked things out. It turns out they could easily afford their daughter's activities without Deaton's expenses. It's just that he recently became qualified to swim in national meets and the cost was going to become prohibitively expensive. In the past, they've been able to drive to all his meets, sometimes paying for a hotel here and there, but now it's going to get much more expensive and they just can't afford it. They thought it would be more fair to cancel activities for all their children rather than have one of them miss out. For a bit of context, Deaton's been obsessed with swimming practically since he could walk. When he was 2, his parents took him to the pool, and that was it. They taught him to swim at 3, and by 4, he was begging for lessons. None of this was forced. He just found something he genuinely loved and never stopped. His parents do their best to keep things reasonable. He doesn't get every gadget or top-tier piece of equipment. He still uses the basic fins and snorkel, and he doesn't even have the expensive pacing device or the custom parka most of his teammates wear. They only spend on what directly affects his performance, like his competition suits, because those are required at his level. The girls, on the other hand, have all had the same opportunities. They've each tried several things: dance, karate, gymnastics, cheer, art, and their parents have supported every attempt, but none of those interests ever really stuck. Right now, the oldest cheers for her high school, the second takes art lessons at the museum, and the youngest has a weekly dance class. They're involved, but casually, and that's perfectly fine. Not every kid has to train like an athlete to have a hobby. So I'm going to cover all of Deaton's swimming expenses, and the girls can keep their dancing, cheerleading, and art. Now, how did my family get involved? Well, according to the parents, their oldest daughter is a bit nosy and looked through their budget ledger, putting together how much was being spent on Deacon compared to her and her sisters. She told them what she found, and now they all feel they should get more. Better clothes, phones, and the youngest wants an expensive iPad for her art. The recent drama really started when one of the girls showed their grandmother what she'd seen. The grandma is a lovely person, but also a notorious busybody, and once she saw the numbers, she told the rest of the family. That's when the comparisons started and it all snowballed. To be honest, I don't think the girls are spoiled or bad kids. They're just young and don't fully understand that fairness doesn't always mean everything costs the same. Their parents have always divided things based on what each child needs, not dollar for dollar. Deaton's swimming just happens to be more expensive right now, and it's not like the girls are being left out or treated as less important. If anything, two of them get more attention than Deaton does. The second daughter was sick a lot as a child and still gets extra care, and the oldest is outgoing and always in the spotlight with cheer. Deaton and the youngest are quieter, more introverted, and tend to stay in the background. Now, it turns out that most of our extended family who knows about this and has an opinion at all is in favor of Deacon continuing with swimming at all costs, and some even offered to pitch in what they could to make it happen. That isn't necessary, and these people don't have any more than Deaton's parents, so it's not up to them to make it up to the girls that more is being spent on their brother. It's really just the grandmother and one of her daughters, the kid's aunt, who are the troublemakers. The grandma thinks all the kids should be treated exactly the same by their parents, and that if anyone other than their parents helps one of them, they should all get equal treatment. The aunt has a daughter who's just gotten into pageants, and I think that's where a lot of this is coming from. They're realizing how expensive pageants are, and both the grandma and aunt think that if I'm paying for Deaton's swimming, I should also pay for Kaylin's pageant expenses. I just don't see the same value in buying $500 dresses for a 4-year-old as I do in supporting a dedicated athlete, so I'm not going to do that, and they're angry with me. For what it's worth, if one of the girls ever gets truly passionate about something that requires a bigger investment, I'd be more than happy to help. But I don't believe in punishing dedication just to make the numbers match. This was never about favoritism. It was about making sure a hard-working kid didn't lose the chance to chase something he loves. I come from a huge family, and not everyone is going to agree with everyone else all the time. In fact, there's never a time when we all agree on anything, lol. But the important thing is that Deaton gets to keep swimming, and his sisters get to keep their activities as well. I imagine this will all blow over eventually. As it should, OP, or else people just get annoying and then they get ignored. But as you say, the good thing here is that Deaton gets to keep swimming and doing something he loves, and the girls get to keep their activities as well. So here's wishing you the best, OP. Thanks for sharing and take care. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user PuzzledGood1378. Would I be the a-hole if I tell my coworker he can't participate in Secret Santa due to his conditions? Okay, so I'm hosting a Secret Santa at work. It's an employee-run event, no managers involved, and I have been the one to host it for the past few years. I made up some questionnaire slips, sent out an email, and started handing out slips to those who want to participate. One of my co-workers, we'll call him Trey, who I actually really get along with, can be difficult at times, and has chosen my hosted event as one of those times for some reason. Anyways, here's how it went down. I handed him a slip since he participated last year, and I assumed he would want to play again. He took the slip from me and then asked me, "Can I just buy someone a gift and not get one?" I told him, no, it doesn't work like that. Someone is going to draw his name and they're gonna want to get him a gift. He told me to just put someone's name who doesn't want to play. I said, they don't want to play though, so I'm not gonna do that. You either play or you don't. There's no in between. This just makes sense in my head. But he kept arguing with me, saying he really doesn't want any gifts and he doesn't need any more clutter in his house, but he still wants to buy a gift for someone. Another co-worker overheard our conversation and kind of called me out for it, saying, "Damn, just let Trey give a gift to someone and put someone's name in at random. Someone gets an unexpected gift and Trey doesn't have to receive one." I really hate the idea of this, but I told Trey I would think about it. But that just makes no sense to me. I'm not going to put a random person's name into the hat, and I'm not going to start asking around who wants to get a gift but doesn't want to buy one. I feel bad because I want Trey to be able to play and participate with us, but I don't like getting pushed into changing rules and making exceptions for people. In my head, the way I set it up is the way the game is played. You either play or you don't. Am I wrong though? Should I just let him donate his gift to someone else? Well, OP, I don't think you're the a-hole because, well, this is the way the game is played. If we wanted to play a game and everybody had their own rules, we wouldn't be playing a game. And if he doesn't want to receive a gift, well, he can either choose not to play or then he can choose to do whatever he wants with the gift. If the problem is clutter in his home, well, he can give it to somebody else. But that isn't your concern. Your concern is, this is the game, this is what we're running, and Trey, would you like to play? These are the rules. That's it. Then Trey needs to make a decision. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's check out the community comments. Teresa.js says, why don't you recommend that Trey ask for a donation to a charity for his gift? He could write down that he doesn't need anything and ask for a modest contribution made to one of a list of charities. Yeah, actually, scratch my idea. This is the one I like. Anywhereas 9048 says, weirdly enough, I have had this happen in the past. I told a person that they should ask for a donation to our common kitchen that was shared by everyone in the building. Everyone used it, but we were always in need of shared utensils, guest coffee cups. She thought it was a great idea and enjoyed being able to donate. Ill Attention 4749 says, we had the best Secret Santa event ever where we worked. Basically, we drew names and then bought a toy that represented the person whose name we drew. The toys would be on display at work until the party. At the party, the challenge was to match the toy to the person it represented. What a hoot! And when the party was over, all the toys were donated to a Christmas toy drive. And Flixteria says, I think it's very weird that you're gatekeeping this. I can understand where Trey is coming from. He wants to be given a gift but doesn't want to get one. I love giving gifts. I really don't like getting them, especially in open settings like the workplace. Yeah, we're weird, but we aren't wrong for how we feel. It's Secret Santa. No one has to know who got them what unless you make everyone sit in a circle and hand out gifts like your co-workers are children. The majority says not the a-hole, and there are people also in Trey's corner. But to me, again, that first comment, that's the best option, I think. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Hey guys, the issue has been resolved. In short, I have asked him to handle the logistics of his gift, and I'm going to let him play. The post is still getting some traction. I was going to ask the mods to close it, but I really enjoyed reading about people's work Secret Santa experiences, so keep the stories coming, lol. I'd like to say a few things about some points people kept making. 1. Just let him play and don't put his name in, and then one person won't have to buy a gift. My response, it takes the fun out of the game for most people. Like we saw with Trey, pretty much everyone wants to buy a gift for someone. That's why they play. Getting gifts is always fun too, of course, but we all love to buy gifts for people, and I'm not going to take that away from anyone. That's why I asked Trey to find someone on his own who is willing to do that. 2. I pressured him into participating when he didn't want to. My response, okay, I know I didn't say it outright, but just so everyone is aware, it is a voluntary participation. No one has to play. Trey wants to participate just without receiving a gift in return. And 3, have a raffle for whatever gift he needs. My response, to be frank, I really just don't want to set this up. I was pressured into doing Secret Santa by my coworkers again because I've done it in the past and no one else will really organize it. But I'm extremely busy at work right now and had so many issues last year with managers getting involved. I really didn't want to have to do it again. Before you say I shouldn't have done it at all, I'll explain myself a little. For one, it started as an alternative to the absolute terrible job our company does for their Christmas gifts. It ends up being a lottery every year with some people getting huge flat screens and others getting a dog bowl, lol. We started doing Secret Santa as our own way of taking control and making things fair and fun, and also being able to further bond with each other. It's a small company and we're all pretty close, especially us hourly folks. 2. The company is shutting down in December 31st, and this is a way for us to kind of go out on a high note in regards to our friendship and work relationships. Some of us may never see each other again. It's been a good bonding experience for us in the past, so I figured we should do it one last time while we can. Well, I've rambled long enough. Lol. Thanks for listening, everyone. Well, OP, it's good to know that you guys were able to find a solution to this so that you can enjoy your Secret Santa one last time. Here's wishing you all the best. Thanks for sharing and take care. And now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user Regular White Shark. You need to tie your hair up. So, during the 1970s, my dad worked for the Royal Mail, British Postal Service, as a postman. Like many men at the time, he had long hair, just below his shoulders. His managers had an issue with this and told him he needed to sort his hair out and tie it up if he wasn't going to cut it. Now, my dad is an a-hole and it came in handy here. He went home that day and told my mom, and she agreed to get up early to tie his hair for him before work. The next day, he went into work with the most delightful pigtails, tied up with some lovely pink ribbons. My dad greeted his manager and said he'd tied his hair up as requested, and then went off to do his round. He wore his pigtails for a week, until coming back with his hair down after a weekend off and never got crap for it again. Well, they got exactly what they wanted, and then they revised the rule. Thanks for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.